Welcome, everyone. Brandon Todd here, coming live from the Medicare Gurus sales floor in the Medicare Gurus dojo. And we come in here every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock to 1-ish. Sometimes it goes longer. Who knows what's going to happen in the dojo. Right now, I have Stephen Grip in here. Looks like we got a very packed floor out there. Lots of people making deals right now. Really busy for a Friday for us. I don't know how it's going for you guys out there. And we are all preparing to go live to the 8% conference in Dallas next week. So lots of exciting things happening in our world. Want to know what's happening in your world? Please leave in the comments below and tell us how we can help you build an ethical, honest and ethical business. So Stephen, man, what's on your mind today? You want to talk recruiting? Since it's just us and
we brought in somebody yesterday who's going to start after the break. What Mason, my associate, and I have been working on are finding that perfect niche. You know, we have some people that have sales experience, but not Medicare sales experience. People that we have on the floor that have been doing really well have sales experience, but no Medicare experience. And Mason and I have been discussing, like, what's next for us.
Is it better to have someone with Medicare experience?
Right, that's the question. You know, you've seen we've had 2 new agents who are starting to grow very fast. Mm-hmm. You know, are they ready for a long-term career? You know, that time will tell. Mm-hmm. But right now they are, providing a lot of positive energy on the floor. People like working with them. They're working very hard. They're doing their due diligence, and they're learning very quickly. Just Mason and I were brainstorming today, what's the next step? Do we continue to stay on this path, or do we want to hire some people with Medicare experience who have had their ways of doing things in Medicare? So I was just going to think about to bring that up. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, it certainly changes over time. I used to always prefer not to have someone with experience.
Right.
And the reason was I didn't teach them that experience. Mm-hmm. And we have a method and a way that's proven over time that works and all that. And if someone comes and tries to add their stuff to it, well, obviously they were looking for a job. Mm-hmm. And this was really hard thing for me to say is like, look, you're the one looking for a job. I'm not. I'm the one providing jobs. So you should be listening to me.
Right.
And a lot of people don't want to do that. They come in and they think that they're the hired gun, mm-hmm. and you're hiring them to do what they do.
Right.
And I used to have to tell people long ago, like, we're not hiring you. We're not looking for people to who know how to sell this insurance necessarily. We're certainly not looking for people to go figure out how to sell it for us. Right. We're looking for people who can integrate this system and then help become part of this team and grow the business and continuously improve it. Mm-hmm. What's up, man?
Nothing much. I figured I'll join you guys if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah. That's what it is. So we're talking about a little bit about, what the ideal agent type of person we want in this community is. Now, over time, remember, I'm the old man, right? So I'm like, I can't believe that Medicare is a big deal. We were like this niche little world in the insurance. You go to a conference, insurance conference, and people are like, what is Medicare? You might as well have been saying you're some obscure disability, income protection rider specialist or something.
Right.
But now it's like a big deal. So you can actually put Medicare in an ad and you'll get people with Medicare experience, where most people didn't know what that was before.
Right.
We just put ads for closers or sales ninjas or whatever.
Right.
And we did find when we were starting back in, this is from 95 to 2012-ish area that we were like that. And so it was the people who were in insurance, they would be mostly independent agents, and they kind of worked on their own, and they always had a hard time transitioning into an environment that was a controlled environment. Yeah. They wanted to do their own thing, make their own schedules and all that.
Yeah.
And they would come in and they would say, oh, this is great. But then the next morning they get a call from another recruiter because they're on this big mailing list of all the stuff that comes in. Yeah. And then that thing would be great. And so many people in the independent insurance business, they just bouncing around from job to job, recruiter to recruiter.
Right.
And none of them could ever be successful because they're taking the calls and believing the lies of all the recruiters for the most part. And so they didn't have what it took, which was to focus. So that's where we were changing. Like, we wanted the employee mindset,
right?
Someone who wants a job, they wanted that stability, the same coworkers, team that they're working with, all that. However, time has gone on, and right now it's an individual case by case.
Mhm.
I think we've seen with some of the people from the larger call centers that we work with, we have to go through a corporate detox program.
I was part of it, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That was the term I coined.
Yeah.
You got to take people they come in like, yes, sir. How you doing, sir? I'll hit my metric. Like, whoa, calm down.
Right.
How do you see your career overall this time? Wait, it's about me now?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. We develop insurance agents and launch careers here.
Right.
So you got to take them through that. Some people can and cannot accept that.
Right.
Some people, they've got this worldview so stuck that it's going to be hard to detox them from that and teach them that worry about your career. So you just got to find the right person. If you find that right person, well, shoot, you got someone who already knows the ins and outs of Medicare and D-SNPs and MedSups and the Plan G and da. Well, then you got to find out if that's true or not, if they know it correctly. But if you take someone like Stefan here, who he read the script, it's the funniest part of the dojo, I think, the last month. You're sitting there like, I read the script, I made the sale. I didn't know, I couldn't get off the script because I didn't know anything else to say.
Right. And you got it. Yeah.
Right. And so he's learning the exact right way from the beginning.
The right way.
So there's nothing to come off, but it's going to take a little more time for him to integrate that product knowledge and all that. You have to do more self-study. Your approach seems to me like the winning approach, though. Just really present in that and what you're doing. So I think his path can be smoother.
He's starting new.
Right.
He's fresh.
Right. But he's going to hit a point. He's going to hit a ceiling where he starts knowing a whole lot more than is necessary in the conversation. So warning on that, when you start really getting to understand all the nuances of the products and all this, just don't get into that. Oh, I know this one. Let me impress you with this knowledge.
Right.
You use the right tool in the conversation at the right point. So I think either can be successful. On the other side of that is that the person that goes through the corporate detox program and really gets it will so appreciate this job here and go, wow, I've been out somewhere else and this is so much different. This is a real home for me. And they won't get that itch as much because, they found the right thing. Where a new person will come in and they'll say, okay, this is what insurance is. And they say, this is what an insurance technology is. All that. They don't realize where they're at. And then they go get another insurance job. And by that time, it's too late to realize what they had before. So I've talked all the way around it, man. So again, I think it comes down to just the individual. If you're looking for someone who's dedicated, who believes in what, we communicate the opportunity. We create the opportunity, we communicate the opportunity. Someone clicks with that and wants to commit. They said, this is what I'm doing for the next 10 years. Then there's not many people who can't be successful here. It's just a matter if they'll be diligent and committed and do what it takes. Because the opportunity is certainly here and even the not most talented people can have a good career in sales.
Yeah, it's funny talking to Stefan because I come from the corporate world, so I know the ins and outs of how a corporation that is Medicare generated works, and it's very different. There's no room for you to grow. There's room for you to make money, but it's transient. It's very hierarchical. So it's like when you come here and you are having a day where you're like, oh man, all I'm doing is reading the script, and then Frank comes in and saves the day. You notice that Frank is slowly backing away from you as you're getting more comfortable with the script. And now there's going to come a point where as your appointments come in and as you're getting more comfortable, you're going to want to rely less on Frank. When I was going to my corporate detox, because I've been doing this for 4 years. So when I came over here and, I get on the phone and I'm doing it and I'm okay, but I had to go through this not a lecture, but a eye-to-eye discussion. Dude, relax. You know,
Mhm.
you don't have to.
There's a person on the other end of the phone, treat them like a person, have a
Because
conversation.
I come from a.
You want to hit them hard, get in,
Yeah.
get out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you know, there's successes and failures in that, but the long term, I'm not creating any long term business for myself. I'm just creating short term closings, which I'm really good at. So I really had to take some time to like do it the right way and not rush, have conversations and build that discovery. That's very, very important to the very end where it's like that person is not only going to be my client for life, but they're going to refer family members and friends to me, which is very important.
So how's this been for you? How long have you been here? 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
No, like 9 days, 8
Okay.
days, 9 days. Yeah.
Oh,
10
okay.
days maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going on 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not just some guy off the street either. I mean, you built businesses yourself,
Yeah, I think.
built and sold businesses yourself, and you're looking for a new opportunity. That's why you came here.
Yeah,
I mean, people might look at you as a new guy.
I'm a new guy.
You've had 7-figure exits. So.
I'm pretty, I'm a new guy, and I don't kind of consider myself different than anyone else. I think everyone, the good thing is everyone comes in at the same level,
Yeah.
and basically, in the end, your production is going to say all about who you really are, right? That's great that everyone's treated the same. They're given all the same tools, same tutelage, and the ability to kind of learn from the other, agents here who are more successful. So I think those are all awesome. The structure of learning is really good, I think, because like you guys said, you guys kind of just throw people out there and say, okay, learn this. This is the fastest way to learn is, taking the hose through your mouth, not like taking little steps at a time. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good because, now that I've been here for a little bit, I realized there's so much to learn. It would be impossible. You would have to keep somebody for a year and train them before they would know enough to like go in there and just handle everything, right? So the point is like to kind of be able to do it proficiently enough, and as you're doing it, you're gonna learn. And if you need help, there are people around you who can like jump in and say, okay, this is what you need, right? So I think it's a great way of learning. My general thinking is if you actually follow the structure, literally, you don't need like a high talent level. If you follow the structure and you do it consistently and you give it full effort, you're gonna do well, right?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, right? It's just, it just comes down to like, are you willing to do it every day? Are you consistent in talking to people and putting out the effort? Because I think that would be the only way you would lose people is if people stop trying. It's not. The method is solid. I did it. I don't know anything. I followed through, and I got like
You're leading the board.
Mhm.
You're the leading agent this week.
right. So I got like 10 people or 12 people, I think, to the final stage where Frank took over or Jacob took over. So it works because I'm only following the script. So there's nothing wrong with the script. I'm kind of like more direct too. I'm not like such a personable guy or something. It's not like I got so much charm, right? So the fact that I can do it makes me think like the structure is there for you to succeed. Now it just comes down to the individual, like anything else, you're not going to make it by sitting down and wishing for it. You actually gotta have the discipline to do it every day. That's the only way. And you can tell the guys who are here and who are very successful, they have the discipline to show up every day and do the sales. And you can kind of see like the first years could be pretty tough because like you don't know anything, everything is new, you can make some mistakes. But once you've been here for a little bit and you put in that time, I could see this place being like a good place to work, in terms of like not being so stressed out, right? So at the beginning, there's no choice. You're going to be stressed out because you have to learn so much stuff, but that's the nature, right? You want to have a good living and not get like some like $40,000 paycheck a year. And you do half the time you're on the internet browsing through Facebook. If that's what you want to do, then this isn't the place, right? But if you really feel like you want to bet on yourself and make it, then this is the place, right? Because you could put in a lot of effort, and the more effort you put in, the more you're going to make. So it's a pretty it's kind of like America, right? In a nutshell. So
that is right.
Yeah, that's kind of what you want, right? Yeah. You want meritocracy when you go to work. That's what people want. They want control, and they want to be rewarded for what they accomplish, right?
Yeah, they want to be rewarded for that.
So I think it's a great place. I only been here for 2 weeks, so I don't know that much. But
look how far you've come in 2 weeks.
Well, in terms of the structure and everything, I give kudos to you guys, because you guys built it. I think it's a great structure, and with the development of the software, I think it's going to be better. I know you guys are always working on trying to get better leads, so it's not like you guys are on the side just telling people to produce, right? You guys are actively part of the team, trying to make the lives easier for the agents, So I think it's
everything's always been focused around the agent,
right?
Because that's what you have. I mean, that's what this business is. It's agents talking to customers, making sales, and keeping retention.
Right.
That's what it is. So if you focus there and eliminate everything else, and I think one thing that we've gotten really a lot better at is transparency. We always put the sales board up, but now we got it in granular detail. What I made a sale. Was that a rollover of an existing customer, or was it an upsell on what? And what type of product was it? It used to be just numbers. And so people would want to get a bonus. They would just call their old customers 1 year in and talk them into switching when they didn't need to, just so they could put stuff on the board. But that transparency, you're talking about meritocracy, that transparency, look, if you're struggling, we know you're struggling. If you're a hot shot, we know you're a hot shot. And that's on a day-to-day basis and an overall basis. And what happens with the group, and this was the biggest thing my dad and I tried to conquer for agents, was the loneliness of being an insurance agent. Because if you're an independent insurance agent, you're out there, it's lonely. You don't feel like there's anyone else who knows what your job is or does what you do. And when you start getting in slumps or you start having a hard time, there's no one to pick you back up. There's no one to show you that, it's not Tuesdays. It's not July. It's not Hemp Hill, Texas, in my old story. There's someone else. There's someone else who's having success, and you can catch on to them and catch their energy and their vibe, and get back on the phone instead of making those slumps permanent. But the transparency does that. And, we all have a stake in that. We want to make the culture better. So we have to lift each other up, because you care. I can't have you not succeeding. We have to pick you up, because if we pick you back up, I know what you're capable of. Then he's going to be able to, with a straight face, talk to the top producers in the world and say, you are better off coming in here, and we all get better. So we can't allow. So that's the idea, is to create this organic, self-sustaining environment that works. And so far, I mean, it's with what we're doing this year right now, it's looking really good.
This is going to be my very first conference I'm attending. So I'm going to be going there, with wide eyes, just seeing, the type of people that do Medicare in this country, and just see what works and what doesn't work. Because I'm getting different stories from people that have gone. And so I am going with an open mind. I'm going to see what it's like. I'm very excited for our setup.
It's going to be more than just Medicare, though. It's going to be,
it is?
Yeah, all types of,
all types of insurance.
Actually, Cody Askins, the founder of 8%, is his background's in life insurance. So there's a heavy life insurance presence there, heavy Medicare presence. I mean, everyone in it's not world. Touching the PNC just a little bit, from what I understand, but insurance agents everywhere.
Gotcha.
So independent, there'll be some organizations there, but mostly independent groups and small agencies. So You know, and then he puts this conference on, has a lot of celebrities as well, and you know, keynote speaker types that have a draw, so they're always entertaining. They're motivational,
Right.
but you'll get to see, you know, like there's a guy who owns an agency over in Tampa, Greg Rebekian's going to be there. He's, you know, he's a pioneer in the Medicare space as well.
Is Brock speaking?
No, he's not even going to be there.
Or is that going to go to this one? Okay.
No, he went to Mexico. He went to Mexico to hide out, so
Okay.
he don't want to be there this year.
That's
from
fair.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot there. Our presence is going to be, I don't think anyone's done what we're doing before at a conference ever. So if you guys don't know, we will be demonstrating the InsureSales technology platform with the Medicare Gurus call floor. So there will be a live call center demonstration right at the InsureSales booth at the 8% Nation conference. So find us out in the pre-staging area right outside the event. You'll see a large area. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff, a lot of surprises you don't know about. One of them is you're going to get to see a live sales floor demonstration using the InsureSales technology platform. So come by with that.
Man, that's going to be crazy. Just people walking up and just watching it live.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be able to see people moving through the deal, being on the call with the headsets, the whole thing. It's going to be
wow.
So you know, to give, I mean, it's only going to be a 4-person station, so it's not going to be a big thing, but it's a demonstration that people can see it in action and how it scales and how the technology is. So, you know, we're going to be actually pre-staging this at an Airbnb.
Right.
So we're taking our whole floor and we're going to move this to an Airbnb Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday and Saturday we'll be doing it live from the event center. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So technology will take you everywhere. You can do anywhere. So
yeah,
really the biggest problem with us is we just had to make sure we had laptops, because some people still have desktops here, and the headsets, everything else is portable, and we just got to build a desk.
Yeah.
So other than that,
yeah.
Are you going, Stephen?
No, I'm not going because I think I found out a little too late.
Yeah.
But I did get an invite for Steven, so I could have gone, but my thing was with my family, like the whole timing, you know. So next year I'll probably go.
Yeah. Well, you need to hold the fort down back here. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you'll hold the fort down back here, and you can watch it in the replay or the live stream.
Right.
We'll be live streaming the whole time.
Are we gonna do dojos?
Yep.
Out there?
Yep. Dojos from the InsureSales platform.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Dojo Live from the platform. We're going to be having lots of guests coming up for a live stream. We're going to be live streaming pretty much the whole event.
Yeah.
And we're going to have lots of guests coming in and all that.
Oh, my
people
goodness.
are setting it up. People, industry people.
What's
all
he going
this,
to
so.
do? He go to Wi-Fi? He's probably running around.
Yeah. I don't know that he will yet. If I might could talk him into it.
Yeah.
Probably 5 minutes. Like when someone's throwing an event like that, they're running around with chicks.
Oh, yeah, correct.
So,
yeah, that's right. No, I mean that's right.
Yeah, but I mean, people who there's gonna be some people who've done some real amazing things going to be coming and talking to us. I'm going to be interviewed, and God, I don't know how many different places are taking me around for this room and that. I'm going to try to pull a lot of them to our venue as well. So
off the top of your head, what percentage of the people that are going to be there, the companies or individuals, are Medicare related? If you get a guesstimate,
30 to 40 probably.
Oh, okay, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, that's just off the top of my head.
Right. Okay, but it's still a large chunk.
Yeah, and even in this world now, like the life insurance agents often also sell a little bit of Medicare, but they're more like that. Like Medicare agents also sell life insurance. So
right.
That whole audience and that whole group. And so it's funny because everyone like the way the world works, because I'm like in my bubble most of the time and I'm getting public for all this publicity I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. And it's like you look at it and there's like this little group over here, and there's a little group over here, and there's a group over here, and there's all these groups in the industry.
Yeah.
And they all think they're the industry.
Right.
And so they're like, you go to someone and you go into this group and you like start talking to them, like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And like, well, they know me over in this group.
Right.
There's no other groups.
Right.
There's no other groups.
Right.
But this group that's built around, that following there, they're all pretty much aware of multiple product lines because there's enough Medicare people in there pushing. There's enough life people pushing.
No,
and there's
I'm
a few of
sorry.
everything else too.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be a fun event. It's we're doing 2 breakout sessions. Let's see. It starts on Thursday. So Thursday at 11 o'clock, I'm doing my keynote speech.
Mhm.
I'm going to be talking about how to build an insurance agency for scale.
Mhm.
Every mistake I've ever made, every success I've ever had, all bundled into a package of what I'm doing now.
How long is that going to be?
30 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll have the booth, the whole conference, and then I'm going to do a breakout session, 8 o'clock both days. So Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
Friday is, see if I can get this right. Friday, I'll be doing 9-figure agent tells all,
Mhm.
where I'm going to talk about all the things I've learned in a nutshell and how to build for scale. And then the next day is technology that'll change the industry,
Mhm.
where I unveil and look behind the scenes look at the insurance sales platform that we built over the last 18 years and how it's going to be released, early views to the releases that aren't coming out yet and all this other stuff. So that's going to be exclusive to the people in that breakout session. They'll be able to see the future of what this is going to be a little bit before it goes public. So
That's exciting.
and other than that, man, we're going to have, just come by the booth and the main thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you will never see anything like it before.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. People like be prepared for your speech and like they made me make slides and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't like slides. I don't like knowing exactly like it's going to go A, B, C,
Right.
D, E. But, so we had to make these slides that can go on. And I'm like, we're going to make as few as possible so that I have as much flexibility. Normally when I have done bad in public speaking, it's been when I was too hung up on saying this, then that, and the words that I say and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Normally, if I can just, I am who I am. I've struggled. I've done the prep my whole life.
Right.
I've struggled. I've had my heart broken. I've been rich. I've been poor. I've been everything.
Uh-huh.
Right. And if I can read the room and I can feel it, then I can come out passionate about what I really feel. Then that's like when I get standing ovations.
Right.
When I come in and I go, I want to say this, and then I'm going to, like a lot of times I'll get in my head. So I'm trying not to do as little of that as possible. Like I'm at the point where we got the slides ready and presented, sent over. And now I'm like, just clear your head.
Good.
Clear your head. Forget about everything. It's going to go A, B, C, D, E, F. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's as many slides as we have.
Good.
And each one is like, I could talk about for an hour and a half.
Right.
So like, and you got 30 minutes. So just get in there and bring your passion. I think that's what people care most about because I have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes from experience. And I think that's my unique thing that I feel like why I'm wanting to go public because I'm a private person, but I'm doing these public engagements and getting on social media and all that because I think the industry needs someone who's struggled the way I have and overcome the stuff I've overcome to really open up and talk about it because so many people out there have gone through this, but they're not the people it looks like who are going through and fighting the battle of building a business and struggling and growing. Seems like they're not talking. And some of the people are doing it, but they're talking as if they're amazing and perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out the sauce, so follow me. And by the way, sign up in my downline and all this other stuff. But it's not that. I mean, so what I think the insurance industry needs to know is that this is freaking hard.
Yeah.
And you're not going to learn the secret sauce. You have to become the secret sauce. You have to become that. And that's a spiritual journey. And it's a hard battle that you have to fight forever.
Yeah.
But what's cool is you get to become something great if you're up for the challenge.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And that's the message I think the insurance industry needs to hear.
Yeah.
We need to quit thinking that the world's great, happy sunshine and all that. We need to realize there's real problems and real challenges in the world. but we can overcome it by being great ourselves and working with the people next to us to become great and create our own little nice communities and places in the world and our own great businesses and stuff like that. So that's my rant like that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
There's passion in that. There's nothing. There are 3 steps to building a business for scale. First, you have your wheels and squares philosophy. Yeah. Like if I get too hung up on that, I'm just going to bomb. Everyone's going to go. Yeah. And what's really weird is that with me, what's hard for me is I don't want the attention, but I have to go get it for my business purposes. Frank's known me for over a decade. Like I like sitting on my house in the islands, looking over the cliff and no one bothers me.
Right.
Yep.
I love like going out in public and no one saying, "You changed my life. You're so great."
Yeah.
But when you have something to say, and you have something that can change each other's lives, I realized it took 2 years of praying about this before I came out and started doing things publicly. It was working with God on it. It's like, you're being selfish, Brandon. You have something out there that can change people. People are having the struggles you've had. And yes, the world exists today where you have to go out publicly and show where you are. Yes, there's all kinds of problems with that and all that. But are you gonna hold that in? And there's an old passage in the Bible where Jesus said, no one lights a lamp and hides it under a bowl. Instead, they bring it to the top of the hill so it gives light to everyone around.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way, let your light shine before men. And if I have something to offer, to the extent that I have something to offer, I will get as public as I can about that at this point in my life for a time.
Mm-hmm.
For a time to be able to do that. And to the extent that I don't add to the conversation, I certainly don't even want to. I don't. Please don't follow me if you like, if it resonates with you and all that. But please, you're going to change your own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the real thing. So this became the Brandon Todd confession hour.
No.
What's up, Frank? Lighten us up.
Yeah.
Lighten us up.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the conference. It's going to be I like the last one I attended. This one's going to be real fun, though. I tell you what, as one of the neater things, and this kind of goes, I just caught the tail end of what you're saying, but I kind of view, and I don't know if you view it the same way too, but you know me, I do not like social media. I do not like getting in front of anything. I just don't. I'm kind of a curmudgeon.
Mm-hmm.
I like talking to people on the phone about Medicare. That's about it. But I've noticed a really disturbing trend over the last several years. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. And that's like FMOs and now insurance companies care about headcount and not production. That's how every contract's negotiated now. We've got 2,000 agents. Go ahead and give me top contract. I got 2,000 agents. Never mind what they're producing. Right. And then you have these call centers that have come as a result of that, these large call centers who only care about getting bigger, more headcount. They are losing money hand over fist after a couple of years. The industry as a whole is suffering for that. And not only is it making it more difficult for the local agent because it's changing paradigm off of a system that actually works, right? And trying to force it to be toxic because they see the glamour and the glitz and like the physical, this is their big office or big building and 300 people. But they're not really seeing the fact that they're losing money. The only reason they're still alive is private equity. Right. So everyone's trying to do
or public equity too. Yeah. That's where they get the real money.
Yeah, I went public and then I lost all that money.
Stock price goes up to here. I can borrow whatever I want against that. I'm just destroying wealth because that's a big bubble.
Right.
All the money that came in anyway is what pushed it.
And this happening over and over and over.
It's not based on skill.
That's right. Because ultimately speaking, the amount of people that are in these mass groups of people that they're talking about, it's only a small fraction, right? And those are your major producers. But the problem is that doesn't build a system that nurtures and allows those guys to expand and develop. It keeps on beating them down. So now we have the little bit of talent that was in the market, out of the million some odd agents in the country. The little bit of talent is getting more and more disillusioned. They're getting more and more neglected. It's getting harder and harder for them to actually make all the money that everyone changes. So if we don't get out there and we don't do something
So I can give you an example of that. Like we built our the first Medicare telesales center off search marketing. It's something I got good in my patient advocacy business.
I was there.
A couple years later, but yeah.
Not for that.
But we built that off search marketing. Well, you came in 09, right?
I came in
It
09, it really started ramping up.
December 06. So 2 years, two
Right.
years in. So we built off search marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I could generate a good qualified lead. Now search marketing is the best lead ever. Someone comes in, I need Medicare supplement rates. Oh, compare Medicare supplement rates in your area. Okay, let me give you my phone number and address. I see the rates. I can watch the videos. I can do all that. Oh, you called me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just fished out of the masses a person who's interested in talking about Medicare supplement insurance right now.
Mm-hmm.
The best lead you can get still, I think, is a search engine lead, unless it's a nurtured lead specific that you've controlled and hasn't been recircled 100 times.
Yeah.
Or warm referral. But just going out there, getting the first interaction, search engines, good. I used to generate a good lead for about $15 on that. We closed 15 to 20% of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to where I was doing some stuff that was really cool in good times where I got that lead cost under $5.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those like 10, 11, like we were just.
Oh, you get 500 leads a day. We don't have enough people for them.
Right. And, it actually got to the point where we were getting so many organic leads. Our SEO was so good. We're getting so many organic leads that I had to keep the pay-per-click on because the pay-per-click, even though we couldn't get to the lead, there was a SEO value to keeping that on. That kept that working. And those leads were costing like under $5 each at that point. And that's just like those days won't ever come back again. But we were able to do that. And then, Richard Cantu was a big competitor. And then a few little regionals, the United Medicare Advisors is coming up. There's a few little competitors here and there that were, Mutual of Omaha was trying it, but they would come and go. But now if you want to get, but I could get a click for anywhere from $3 to $5. $5 a click. You're not going to pay that. I could get $1.90 clicks sometimes. That would be my bid. And then that would be, I would bid $1.90 to $3.90, something like that. And then the lead would end up costing about $5. We're getting 25% conversion rates on our website, all this. So now if I want to go in, I want to do a pay-per-click ad. These bids are, if you do the $5, $7 clicks, you're going to get the really crappy keywords that don't convert. If you want the good keywords, they're going to be $15, $22, $25. Well, why is that? Because all these lead aggregators, all these other people are coming out and they get that lead, they get that click. They can take that lead and sell it exclusively to 7 people. And then they nurture it and rewash it every 30 days and have some offshore call center call it. And they can just work this thing forever. So if they get that click, they can afford, because they're not going to do an ethical business. They're going to go out and rewash that and resell it a whole bunch of times. So because they're doing that and destroying, the quality of leads for the public who wants to buy them, the average agent. So the average agent can't buy a quality lead because everything's been rewashed through 1,000 layers of lies. Everyone talks about it. You get a lead from somewhere. It's like you're the 7th person to call me today. No, this was an exclusive lead. How did 7 people call you already 30 minutes, on this exclusive lead? So they get that. It's a messed up world. And they go, okay, well, I'm going to start my own thing. Well, now you got to get in at $15, $20 a click. If you're getting 15% website conversions to a lead, you're doing really good. So now it's $100 a lead, and then your closing ratio on that, you're looking at $400 to $600 cost per acquisition. To do what we were doing, when we had 50 to 150 at the worst CPA. At the worst times here is 150, and the best times it was 50 years ago. So how's the average guy supposed to, I'm saying this illustratively, what you're saying, how's the average guy supposed to make a living when the big has come in here and just with lots of money and influence and all this and just mass producing competence just destroyed everything for everybody? How's someone supposed to make a living?
Well, the problem that you encounter is kind of like where I was going with it was if we don't do something now, right? Because already those call centers are collapsing. They're not profitable past 5 or 6 years. They're just not because they scale wrong. They don't know how to scale. They just get headcount, right? And because of that, without the ability to scale, they can't be profitable long term. Then they turn around, and that's causing issues for the carriers. And now the carriers are sitting there going, we don't want these call centers. So there's a little bit of a respite in that. But however, the FMOs are still there, still trying to recruit headcount, 2,500, 3,000, 25,000 agents. And that's all they talk about, how many agents they have.
Right.
So unless we get out there and go, guys, you can make more money with 5 to 10 agents than you can with 50 to 100. If you
way easier.
Way easier.
Because FMO thing, yeah.
Right. And not even FMO, just your own call center. You can set up your own call center. I'll show you why this is the way. If you want to grow to that large level, that's fine. You have to do it in the right way. Right. Yeah. But if we don't do that at some level, what's going to end up happening is it'll be good for us in a way because the other call centers are collapsing. We're already hiring great people from other collapses in the local area. That's one thing that I always find amazing is that these other companies have really good people in there.
A few of them. We don't want most of them. Yeah, that's where me and Grip first started the conversation.
Right. A few of them, right. Oh, good. They have a few really great people in there. I'm surprised that in these other centers.
Well, we're talking about who the ideal was, and is it better to get someone brand new like Stefan who's going to just come in and learn the right way, or get someone and corporate detox them and teach them how to be in control of their own destiny and all that? That's what the conversation was.
It's a different approach to them, but as long as they're the same person, it's like the personality. They're highly conscientious. They're driven. They'll go out and they're self-starters. They're going to end up in the same spot.
If they see it and they'll work it, then that's it.
That's one of the cool things. But if we don't do this, what will end up happening is that the industry is going to go through a pretty nasty reset. We'll still be around. We'll have more opportunity individually, but that's not going to be good for the industry.
I think we're already doing that, and that's where that's why I'm coming out. Honestly, I didn't mean to talk about myself as much here, but the light that shines before men right now is here's how you build an insurance agency, and I can show you how to build it in a way that you don't have the problems I had on the way up, and how you can have organic growth that's sustainable and that works forever, and so we can cut out all the noise in the industry. And like what we need is, one of my lines is, the answer to all the world's problems is in individual human beings becoming great. Mm-hmm. We need great people. We need great agencies. We need great interactions with our customers. If we would all do that and quit trying to figure out how to get and start ourselves in the upline of 10,000 agents and go around beating our chest saying, I have a 10,000 person agency, which you don't.
Yeah, you don't.
Or 1,000 person agency or whatever. Or try to get the most Facebook followers and all that. And I get social media, but I hope I don't offend anyone. Like, it looks like some of these things you have to be a clown to get attention. I get some fun videos and I get the behind the scenes and the transparency, and I love that part of it. But some of these things, it's like there's people out there and they're doing good, getting attention, but in order to do it, they have to be a clown.
It's
almost
so staged. It's just so staged.
And it's like when you come to work, and that's why I like this. It's more of a, we're really building an insurance agency. Right. We're really building something that we want to last forever. So let's do that, and let's let the people who see that gravitate towards us. I don't want to be a clown. I think we threw some swag around yesterday, and they videoed it, put it out there, and that's about as far as I want to go.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, you're exactly right. The world needs good agents, good agencies. We're going through that reset now. And hopefully we can start building from the ground up again as an industry, because this top-down stuff is making everyone miserable. It's mass producing competence destroys a lot of lives in the end.
I think back, and I've realized how lucky I was that I happened to be down the road and miserable in corporate America from you, right? I really was, and I wasn't looking at that time. I was having that bad day. Remember, and I saw
you came in all pissed off.
I was pissed, but I was already good at sales. Just demonstrably, I was learning because I just tried to learn it. Now, I'd already been in it for a long time. But then coming into this industry in particular and being, in this organization under your tutelage on there, I didn't get exposed to all the other garbage that a lot of these guys have been exposed to that I talk to and I ask, it's a different world. It's hard to communicate to somebody like what a banquet is when they've been living on bread and water their whole life. It really is.
Yeah.
And the problem is that mindset has been just expanding. People are no longer becoming insurance agents to get comfortably $250,000 a year a few years. That's what this job is.
Right.
They're getting into the agency now and in the world now, hoping to make $50,000 a year.
Right.
That's insane.
Or more, but like with no top end, no build, no, all the agencies. I mean, I talk to a lot of the big agencies all the time. And the consensus is, don't pay renewals, the agents will get lazy. And yes, that's true. That's true. Some of them get lazy and don't, because they don't have that, someone, we've seen it. I make $100,000 a year, 2 years in the business. And they're like, no one in my family's ever made $100,000. I'm cool. I just want to maintain it. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose this opportunity, but they certainly don't want to build it because they don't have that higher. They don't appreciate how expensive life's going to be, for one thing. And they just don't have those higher aspirations. But on the other end, I think also people use that as an excuse not to pay renewals because they want to keep the upside.
The industry was making a ton of money before this model of let's pay or higher base pay and cut off all renewals and lower commission. Right. They were making plenty of money before that. Right. You inject more middlemen into it, it made a little less money. But what happened?
And you'll see with the big companies that we're projecting out. We're going to have 3-4 year persistency, whatever it was, and they had like just ridiculous was less than 1 year in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah,
I don't know the numbers. I don't want to say something out there, but the persistency shows up way less, and they're
cannibalizing their own book and showing it as actual new sales and not reporting a loss in the corresponding.
Well, it turns out because the agent, once they sold the policy, is not allowed to talk to the customer anymore.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. Now you got to pay another person to service your existing.
And then the group of people who were serviced, they were incentivized on flipping.
Yeah.
So you get a policy, whether you put it with a carrier. You think carriers are happy about this?
Hell no.
No, we're just talking to, we talked to 3 big MA providers, like top level, C's out there, talk to them. And we had the consensus was with all of them independently. They're like, we don't need any more distribution.
Yeah,
we don't need to, we're selling plenty. That's not our problem.
Retention.
Our problem is retention. Our problem is just this mess of switching around, people in the wrong plans, a lack of people doing good placement and suitability. Because the carriers are providers. They create a product, they put it in there, they issue the policy as applied for. It's an insurance agent's job to go through suitability and make all that happen. When they don't do that, well, the carriers suffer too because, what's going to happen? Well, they're getting a bunch of calls. Why didn't you cover this? I was told that. And now the regulators coming in. CMS comes in. All right, what are we going to do to fix this? And we came up the other day, snowballed incompetence.
Oh yeah,
snowballed incompetence. So we can't fix this. So we do this. So now we got to fix it. So we put another layer of incompetent fixes on it, and another one, and you just get this big mess.
I was thinking something very similar that I was talking to Steve Montel last night. And he kind of walked through some of it. It clicked when he was walking through some of the industry history, from the other side, and we walked through some of it. You realize, and that's something I was like, you know what? This downturn really kind of started. I'm wondering if it started when private equity investor comes in, never sold a damn thing in his life, has some money behind him, goes and buys an agency, goes, I can make some money off this. Puts in stuff, has immediate, just lowers some cost, immediately does that, sells it again. Keeps on doing it. Next thing you know, guy has 15,000, 20,000 agents under him because now he's an FMO. and has never sold anything, never ran a book of business, never serviced a client, and is now negotiating contracts and continuing to recruit and getting more private equity money and more and more and more private equity money, all the while leading a path to destruction through the entire industry.
They don't see it's doing from the beginning, a lot of it.
Right.
But a lot of times it doesn't matter because that time bomb is 6 years out and they're on a 5-year flip.
And that is exactly where the time bomb is, because when I looked at all the stuff for projections of growth and how to grow responsibly, 6 years is where you lose money if you just do headcount growth and don't account for any other improvements.
No.
6 years. 6 years. Boom. And you'll have 30 or 40 agents.
But these private equity companies are trying to conglomerate. They're bundling everything up so they can get a higher multiple on their next round.
And then they're out.
And what the people who aren't buying that next round don't get is that these 200,000, 500,000 agents that these bigs are going to go tell them that they have aren't loyal at all.
They don't care.
The next better thing comes in and they're switching their hierarchy out to somewhere else real quick. All you have to do is have a better deal for them and I mean, this is from the top FMOs and all that. I know all of them. They sit there and go, there is no loyalty in this business whatsoever. We're under no illusion that any of our agents won't leave if they get a quarter point more on a med sub.
Right.
They're on a 20-point contract. They get 20 and a quarter. I'm out.
Here's the scary part. 200,000 agents, 15,000 are actually your producers responsible for more than half the actual production, right? And those guys will leave in a second because they know what they're worth. They'll get that extra half point.
What do you? We're leaving you out here, man. You're no stranger to private equity and those type of things. Like, this is probably all new to you, like what this industry is. But
it's very interesting, and it makes sense if like as industry develops, people just treat it more a numbers game, right? So the actuaries, the accountants, they all take over and they're just running metrics, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to raise money on metrics than saying you got something innovative and different that's going to change something.
Because everyone says that.
Right. Because it's easier for the people who invest money to just use metrics, right? They put some numbers together. They know 80% of these guys are not going to produce, but if 20% does, blah, 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 blah. They do the math and they're like, okay, we're going to make money at the end.
I put $1 in, $1.25 comes out.
Right. So the fact that like 90% of the people get destroyed or whatever, it's not really part of their concern,
They also don't like to account for scaling cost.
Right.
The support structure, infrastructure is needed, lead distributions, cost of leads for the size of the market, everything. Man,
and then usually they invest in a lot of different things at once. So there's a lot of like give and take. And so the math that they're using to justify it, it's not really just, you would think it's just trying to make money in one industry. That's how they would do it, but that's not how they do it. They have a way more complicated way. They'll even buy companies that are massively in debt so they can use that as a tax write-off, right? So there's a lot of things that they use that to them, it's just a bigger numbers game.
Yeah.
So what it hurts is like, I think almost like the real producers, the honest guys who did it the old-fashioned way, and now they're kind of getting run over by just numbers, right? So even if you can't have like 10,000 agents trained correctly. It would take a monumental effort to train that many people to be a good agent, right?
Right.
So you're kind of fighting against this this army of people who are just kind of like, they're butchering they're butchering the field. There's like, just from what you guys are saying before, it used to be like you harvest it and then you come back next season and then you can harvest it again. Well, if these guys are just going through that field over and over and trampling, you as a decent person can't really compete anymore because they don't let that marinate and then let it grow over a year. So it's almost like, I think what you guys are saying, like you have to wait them out because that system is not going to work, right? So I think Frank was saying like 6 years or 5 years. At that point, they actually have to start a brand new company, or else it doesn't really work, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, they have to start over. And then what happens is so many people, they get enough scale so they can bring in massive amounts of people into the business. And so all these people get in the business, but like Grip was saying, at least talking to his old friends, they're like, don't want to sell anymore. They're like, I'm out of sales. Sales is horrible. Insurance is horrible. Medicare is horrible.
They have scorched earth, those people.
Right.
Right.
And those people like never want to sell again. And then people like, how many people we've seen in the world, like, I don't want to be a salesperson, right? Because there's a stigma on being a salesperson. They don't realize this, like a good ethical salesperson is a hero in the world. I go down that train. But what I'll say here is that we don't have to play their game. And that's what I want to teach everybody. The bottom line is we have something that these big organizations don't have, and that's the ability to talk to one-on-one with the customer and to win them over as a lifetime customer. If insurance agents do what they're supposed to do by doing that, and you do it well, they won't answer the phone with that next person. Those people will sit around running these D-SNPs and pushing them down and lobbying the government to make a new law to make them their incompetence work some more or whatever, bullying around bad leads and all this other stuff. They'll keep moving, trying to find places to go. But that doesn't mean the individual insurance agent can't build a business and build a life, because what matters is that you build a relationship with that customer. And, you know, Steve would jump in right now. Hi, Steve, if you're watching. He go, and the carrier, because he's telling me, like, look, Brandon, the carriers are hungry for what we're doing here. They need that too, because the carriers, I mean, there's the big 5, 7 or whatever. They're like they're part of the same world where no one has any control of anything, and they're all just trying to chase their tails and figure out what's happening for the most part. But the regional carriers or the smaller carriers, the traditional carriers are like, who can we get who's going to write good quality business and we can partner with and you know, have reliable, sustainable distribution, who's going to write quality business, because that's just a dying breed. And the carriers are like upset about that. Like, you know, do a good job, agents. Like, well, do a good job, carriers.
I think a lot of times, like, you know, before, you would know your insurance salesman, but he would come to your house, you would talk to him. It was like face to face. And many of the times those guys actually lived in the town that you resided in. So there was some kind of like responsibility because you saw them every day. But now with the modern times where you don't have that personal connection, it just becomes a numbers game. And I think I'm kind of understanding what you guys are doing better. You guys are kind of bringing that old fashioned style back into this field, because it's gone so off the rail with people just calling and people switching like 3 times a year to like where now, because if you talk to somebody face to face, they're less likely to switch because they know you're going to come see them like 3 months from now to see how you're doing. Right. So
or just same at the grocery store, things like that. That's where I started.
So I think what you guys are saying is you guys are going to build that that connectivity with the clients, so it'll make it a lot sticky, and then they can trust you to basically for their needs, you know, in the future.
Yeah, building the lifelong and multi-generational relationships. I think that's what the world needs. And mark my words, everybody, the insurance industry is going back to brick and mortar. The internet gives too much access to the big and the scalable thinking. It's going back to brick and mortar. It's going back to the pillars of the community. You're talking about the reset. I say it's already happening. What I'm going to be investing in over time, besides software and technology that enables stuff like this, so it can make it better, is you know, our franchising. We'll have the Gurus franchise model come out at some point, where people can actually buy a franchise, be a local Medicare Gurus operation in their small town, do local marketing, seminar marketing, bring people into their office, go out to their homes if necessary, but teaching people to build that lifetime relationship. I mean, that's where it's really.
You're gonna hate me for saying this, because I know you love sharing and you love, you know, being able to make everything. I still think that those kind of opportunities should only be available to like top tier mastermind program stuff. I mean, those kind of things right there, the stuff that we're working on right now in that area, those are really big game changers in the level of getting online marketing started when you did that back in 2006, 2005, 2006. That's one of the bigger revelations.
You're telling me to wait till the mastermind's announced and then let the high level people know.
I think it should be a requirement to where you have to be in that program to actually start getting into this concept, because it is that big. It's that, and it's not the some of the stuff that you've gone over. This isn't stuff that's just like I don't want to have to give it away on this thing either. So it's like, this isn't stuff that's like, oh, well, you could possibly do that. No, these are very, very implementable and simple concepts that are like, they don't cost you anything other than what you were already going to spend. Therefore, all the things that we're running into there, they just have such a multiplier of what they'll bring to somebody. Right. More floor traffic, more phone traffic, more just general traffic. Contact rate is the name of the game in our industry, right? I get a contact rate.
Everything we've ever done is built around the single individual professional agent working with the best client possible at all times. Yeah. So how do we do that on a more sustainable thing? Because like I'm saying, if I'm not here to go to private equity or sell out in 5 years or anything else, but I'm looking at this next portion of my career and everything else for the next 50 years. What I want is, I'm looking at what's going to last. And the only thing that lasts is connections, local connections. People are moving back that way a lot. Mm-hmm. And once you make a good connection with someone, especially if they're in the community, things like that, it works. Now, technology, internet, all that brings that ability so well, to empower that agent in that local thing. And even outside of that. So you got a local agent, your local agency, someone comes into your office, they love you. They'll only do business with you ever, which happens to all good agents. But their sister-in-law in Portland wants help too and doesn't trust anyone else. Well, let's pull her up and get her on the phone now. So that's the difference the way it used to be, where we would go, it used to be debit routes and then people knocking on doors and people doing direct mail and then calling and then going to the house. And then we got the internet and so telesales and all this. It's going to go back to that hybrid of that. But I think the hub of what's going to happen, if you look 5 years from now, and there's like 3 different people have come to me and said, so-and-so, like 2 different people said, if you want to know where the industry's going to be in 10 years, just look at what Brandon's working on. Mm-hmm. So I don't say that to brag, it's just where I'm at. Enhanced localization is going to be I'm not saying there will be other things, but that thing will be the investable thing that you can put some money in and come back 30 years later and know it's done a really good
One
job.
of the things that before you had to make a choice, right? Because being the innovator in the system, it was localization. That's all that was really there. And by the way, people don't think that debit routes didn't exist for a reason other than collecting money or insane. The reason people have been sending out postcards and payment and bills for, 100, 200 years till you would actually write a check and pay it back. No, we sent our agents out there so they could build that relationship, maintain it. Right. But then they wanted to simplify it. Oh, well, we can just do this. Well, we now lost something else. Right. But with technology,
we're going back to debit routes, guys.
They're like, no, my car.
I was watching the Medicare Gurus. I'm starting to follow them, but they lost me. The world's going back to debit routes.
You lost.
I got to go by and collect every month.
But for the longest time, especially when we started our first call center and we started the technology didn't exist. And technology then became the exclusive purview of these major entities, a lot of investment money to build the technology to do phone centers and online enrollments and stuff like that. The technology has evolved to a point where it is about to be accessible to way more than just a 200-person call center. It needs to be, because that's how you get the brick and mortar back. That can do both. I can work on the phone and I can have the in-person localized presence.
Fortunately, I am 5 minutes late for a meeting.
Sorry.
So we're going to have to end this out. I just realized this conversation went so quick. Everybody, thanks for watching. Brandon Todd, Frank Bryant, Medicare Gurus Dojo. We're here every Monday through Friday, starting at 12 o'clock, also replaying on YouTube and Facebook and lots of other places. Find us here, become what your clients need, become what your business needs, and be the change you want to see in the world. God bless y'all. Take care.